Hey, L Webb in the building. So what I want to walk you through now is changing the rear pads on the Highlander. 2016 XLE Highlander. We're going to change the rear pads, very similar to doing the front pads, but we're just going to focus on the rears today. All right, the very first thing I like to do, if I'm working outside, got to do the off. I don't know about you, but mosquitoes love me. So I don't like being distracted and trying to fight off bugs and mosquitoes while I'm working. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just take care of that now. Okay, wow. All right. Also, I like working in my garage. That way I don't have to worry about the elements. If it decides it want to rain, I'm inside the garage. If it get too hot, the sun, don't have to worry about that. Turn a fan on in the garage. So let's get going. Okay, next thing I like to do, once I get the car in the position, whether garage or outside, I always put something in front of the tires. Of course, I took the cheap way and I just found two nice sized rocks to put in front of the tires. And this is just a backup to ensure that the car won't roll from under the stilts. All right, next I like to make sure I have all the tools that I'll need readily available. Nothing worse than having to stop or change location to go and try to find the tool that you need. I like to have everything right within reach. My number one thing that I love is my seat with casters on it. Instead of having to sit on the ground and move around, sometimes it's nice to have my seat where I could just roll around. I have my pads. All right. Have a, what is this, crowbar type of thingy, small one. I don't know if you can see it, but I have my 3-ton jack. I went with a 3-ton because I have a SUV and a truck. I'd rather have more power than needed. I have my stands. So once I jack it up in the middle, I like to put my stands under each side. Have my favorite DeWalt impact driver. Love this thing. One of the best tools I ever bought. I have the whole kit of large lugs. They usually fit any wheel lug that you can come across. Have my torque wrench just in case I can't budge the lugs with my driver. I have my ratchet with some extenders. And I have some bits, the long bits, because sometimes they may not fit over a long bolt. And then I also have a kit with some smaller ones, just in case it's not enough room. This is something that I grew to love when doing brake jobs. Bungee, to tie up the caliper to keep it out the way while I'm adjusting the calipers. And, oh, last but not least, then I have C-clamp for pushing the caliper, helping pushing the brake calipers in. And then a hammer, just in case. You never know when you can use a hammer. And I think that's it. I mean, that should be enough. That should take care of every obstacle that come up. And another thing I love about my rolling cart seat is that I can store all those tools right on this seat. So as I move around, I take all those tools with me. I sometimes use a rolling cart and just put everything on the cart. It's a 3-level cart, but you know, often I'll just throw them on my seat and they'll just come wherever I go. All right, let's move that out the way. So now what we want to do, I'm going to adjust my jack. Yeah, so I love this jack because it has the swivel here. And so you see this little lump here under the middle. It allows you to jack the truck up right in the middle, and it'll lift the wheels up on both sides. And so what I like to do is just get some of that tension off the wheels before I take the lugs loose. All right, so now let's take these lugs loose. Yeah, see, those lugs are real tight. So what I do is use my torque wrench to just loosen them a little bit. And that's one of the reasons I didn't lift it all the way off the ground. All right, now I'm gonna go do the ones on the other side. All right. Another thing you don't want to forget, water. It's warm outside, get you some water. So now that we have the lugs, a little loose where we can just get them off with our driver, I'm gonna go ahead and jack it all the way up off the ground. All right, now that it's off the ground, I'm gonna go ahead and put my stacks up to hold it up. And notice I didn't jack it up too high off the ground. Right now it's only about 1 inch. You don't have to have it super high off the ground. You just want to have it up just enough to be able to take the wheel off. There's a groove right about here, a little rounded, that you want to try to get this under. Right there. I'm gonna go up just a tad more. All right, right there. That's where I want to be. Now I can add it to the other side. So now I want to go ahead and take my wheels off. See? And another good thing about this seat, I can just drop those lugs right here inside my seat. That way I don't have to worry about them getting missing. All right. So now I'm gonna take this wheel, I'm gonna lay it down flat and lay it right up under the car. Don't know if you can see that, but just sit it right here under the car. All right. So now that I have the wheels off, I'm gonna go ahead and just lower the jack so that the car will sit on the stacks. And you're gonna do this slowly. Make sure it ease down real slow. All right, now take the bar out so you don't accidentally trip over it. Make sure the car is resting on the stacks. Yep. Check the other one. Make sure the car is resting on the stacks. Because what you don't want this car to fall or to adjust while you're under it. Yeah, so you want to make sure that the car is sitting right on that groove, on that stack, or on those holders, whatever you call them. Jack stand, that's what they are, jack stands. See that? You want to make sure that's sitting right inside that groove. So another thing I like to do is I try to keep my garage as clean as I can. So I have an old t-shirt here. It's got some old paint on it from a vacation Bible school. Don't tell my kids. And I like to put it down there so any of that stuff, brake dust and things that fall off, it'll get caught on this shirt, and then I can just throw this away. I like to wear gloves. I have some orange cleaner, but I still like to wear gloves. So I'm gonna throw my gloves on. I always like to keep me some disposable rubber gloves in case I need to get to touch something with my hands quickly without having to clean them. All right, so here we go. We got to take these 2 bolts loose here. There are 2 bolts on the end of the calipers that you want to take loose. Okay, so on this Highlander, this bolt is a 14. So I'm gonna just take a ratchet. All right, make sure you're going the right way. It's this way. Facing that way is actually left. This way is right. All right, so take that out. And now I should be able to just lift this caliper. See that? And here's something that you have to look at. There's a brake line on this caliper. So usually you can shift this up and it'll just roll up and you can hook it and let it hang. But the brake caliper on this, the line on this caliper is really short. See if I can show you that. Yeah, so this line here, really short, so it won't allow me to adjust my caliper. So what I have to do is take the whole thing loose. All right, so I'm gonna do is put my ratchet on the top, put my bolt back in so that it don't move on me. There we go. All right, now I have the top one loose, bottom one loose. So now I can just take off the whole caliper. And that way I don't have to worry about messing up that line. Just take the whole thing loose. There's my bungee. Can take my bungee, hook it on that, and now I could just find me somewhere to just wrap it around here just to hold this out of my way so that I don't have to worry about it falling in the way. All right, let's look at these pads. Pads don't look that bad, actually. When you look at them, they're actually not that bad. They were squealing. I don't know why, because they're not that bad. But since I have them, I'm going to go ahead and put these on, and I'll just keep the other ones. All right, so now that I have the new pads on, if you can see that the caliper won't fit over the new pads because they are a little thicker than the old ones. Not much, but they are. So what I need to do, and this is probably, which I'm sure this is not the professional way of doing this, but what I want to do is take this C-clamp, use this old pad. I'm going to take this old pad, put it up against this caliper, like so. Then I'm going to use the C-clamp to squeeze and push that in. All right, so let me loosen this. And you have to be real careful because you don't want to break that brake line. You don't want to damage this brake line or you're in a lot of trouble. So I want to put this C-clamp. I want to put this C-clamp right on the back of this caliper. Let me show you. Right on the back of this caliper, right here. And then, so I'm going to squeeze it. So what you want to do, if you can see this, I have the C-clamp right on the back of the caliper, on a flat part of the caliper, making sure you do not damage that brake line. Be real careful not to damage that brake line. So it's on the back of the C-clamp, and then on the inside, let's see, I have the old brake pad with the other side of the C-clamp pushing that caliper in. Because you got to push the caliper in so that it will fit around the thicker width of the new brakes. And once you have that on there in a good spot, you want to try to make sure you can hold everything and try to twist, using every part of your body to twist that caliper, or twist the C-clamp to push that caliper in. And it's usually don't take a lot of force. It usually just goes in easily. And then you could just, and like I said, the brakes that were on here were not that bad. So it was not a lot of movement needed. So now, I should be able to fit this caliper, see how easy that was, right back over top of the new pads and get it back on. So now let's put these bolts back in. And that's it. That's a brake pad replacement. That's done. That's it. So now all I have to do is switch that one and tighten these lugs back. Try to do them equally, just a little bit at first. All right, now that that's on, tighten it just a little bit more. You don't want to over tighten them. Yeah, just enough to snug them up real good. You don't want to over tighten them. That's it. Job done. Now see if you can, not sure if you can see all this brake dust that's on this t-shirt. It's kind of why I like to put something down so now I don't have to worry about sweeping all that or trying to clean that up or tracking it over the garage. All right, so now we can put our wheels back on. All right. All right, then you can just lift it up. Use your foot to guide that on there. All right. Some heavy tires, I tell you. All right. Now just pull your lugs out. All right. And I always put my lugs on with my hands, not with my drill bit. Because you want to make sure you don't cross thread your lugs. So I always do it with my hands first. All right. Yep. See that? I turn them as much as I can with my hands first before I put my drill back on there. Might have to shift your tire a couple times. Yeah, but that's because if you ever get those threads crossed up, then that's gonna be hard to get. You probably can't get your lugs off, and then you might have to get them replaced. Snap it and have to get it replaced. All right, so when you tighten them, I like to go opposite. Top one, bottom one, left one, right one. You know, try to alternate. Not too tight the first times, just to get them on good. All right. And now that you got them all on, now you can tighten them a little more. That's it. She good. Now I'm gonna come back with my torque wrench once I get it down a little bit, and just to snug them up a little bit more. Not too much more. All right, let's go put the other one on. All right, so we're done. So now that I have the car jacked up, I have both wheels on and snug, I can lower my jack stands and remove them. And now I want to come back with my torque bar and just snug up my lugs just a little bit more. But first I would need to lower it just so the wheels, see how the wheels are spinning. So I'm gonna lower it just enough to stop the wheels from spinning. And then I'll tighten them up. All right. So now let's tighten these up. There we go. All right, so now I can just go ahead and lower the vehicle all the way down. Easy, not too hard, easy. All right, I can remove my jack. All right, that's it, job done. So now what I want to do is take it out for a test drive, pump those brakes before you put it in drive, and then just drive it around the block or whatever, just making sure those brakes work the way they're supposed to. And that's it. Thank you.